I'm delighted of being here today with our award-winning authors for the category of the BolognaRagazzi Award, New Horizons. The book is amazing. The title is Mesto Pro Azdejo, and I am here with Petra Novakova,
Hello.
Labyrinth Publishing House by Prague, and I'm here with Osamu Okamura, who is the writer of the text of this amazing book. And I'm here also with Irifranta, but in the window where you see Irifranta, there is also David Bem and also Pavel Dvorak that I don't see now, but he is around. So Irifranta and David Bem are the authors of illustrations and models, and Pavel Dvorak is the author of the photographs. So just introducing the authors, the collective of people who created this book, it's clear that it's something really special. We know that the BolognaRagazzi Award for the category New Horizons goes to a book that is innovative, that is striking, that the jury want to highlight out of all the other categories. And I have to say, it's almost impossible to describe the book. So what we're going to do is that we're having a conversation about that with the wonderful creators of it, and we will go through a little journey through its pages. So as a first thing, I would like to read the motivation of the jury in awarding this book. Mesto Pro Azdejo. This astonishing book makes use of the disposable glossy magazine format and garish color photography of original installations to express the thrilling dynamism of urban design. The producers have produced a mega maquette of a paper town and have generated assertive and informative text on questions of urban design and justice. Readers are positioned to look at the pages as designers, considering a model of a city that they have been invited to rethink. The striking maquettes are framed by and executed with unexpected objects and presented in playful, bold types to draw the reader's attention to the constructedness of cities and therefore the potential they have for being reorganized so that they may become better for everyone. So as a first thing, congratulations. The book has this incredible format. And now I'm going to share the PDF so we can see the images, but also really in the book design of it, like how it is constructed. It really looks like a magazine, like an architectural magazine, and it has this incredible appeal because it looks different from any other books. I want to tell you that the jury members, the international jury for the BolognaRagazzi Award, had a very big job to do, because the books that arrived that were candidated for the awards were more than 1,700. So in this huge quantity of books, your amazing work really was evident, that was different from anything else. So as a first thing, I would like to ask to Petra Novakova of Labyrinth Publishing House, how did you receive the prize, and how were you brave enough to publish such an incredible and really innovative book?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Marcella. We are very much delighted to hear that we have won this award for the innovation, and it was quite a long journey. It was very exciting, and I love the book because it's very fascinating, not only because of the illustrations, but also because of the content, because of the text itself. And we are so happy that Osamu came to us. I think it was like 2 years ago almost. Is it right, Osamu? And right. We got in touch because Osamu just came back from the United States, and he was full of inspirational things that he learned there, and he wanted to create this firstly, it was supposed to be a comic, a graphic novel book on urbanism. And the thing that was very much striking was that he came with something different, because there are so many books on architecture itself and different architectural styles and details and everything. And he came with this very fresh idea to look at the city as like a fascinating human invention, and to talk not only about the buildings itself, but also about the space, the common space, and the urbanism plan, or urban planning in general. So it was such a fresh, such an innovative project from the beginning, I must say. And we have gone quite a long way to choose correct artists for this book, because we have approached many different not many, but a few artists who brought very classical approach into illustration, and we felt that it doesn't match together. So we are so happy that then we asked Jirka Franta, and then David joined, and we have created something so exciting. But last but not least, I would like to say that we are missing the last member of our crew, very important one, and it's the graphic designer of the book, Stepan Malovec, who did very, very, very big part of this job.
So Petra, it's your fault if you matched this artist with this text in a way. I mean, it's your responsibility. I am joking because the book is very extravagant in some way, not in general. In general, is very readable, very effective. And the typography, for example, is makes it very clear, all the statement, and even the text, the part that I could read, because I don't read the Czech, but the part that I could translate and read are very effective, very synthetic, very assertive, as the judge, as the jury members said. And it really talks about the complexity of urbanism, and it makes it in a very, very interesting way, very playful one. Maybe that's why I said I wanted to joke about it, even because I see here Franta, David, and Pavel that are sitting in this beautiful trittico from a studio. And as we connected, the first thing I asked is if they are in the studio where they built up, when they made up this big maquette. And I would like to know how was the process of, as a first thing, of building such a different and layered language to put images in this text. How did it came to you, and how was the process of building this model? Jirka, would you like to answer to me? Jirka. I try to say it well, I'm sorry.
Okay. So yes, we are right now in the studio where we build all the models. And when we saw the text in the first time, we thought that the models like this, it's maybe better how we can show that the city, the book is about urbanism, not about architecture, and we want to show that the city is something like a living organism. And if we show the models, then probably the people, the readers, can better imagination that there is a lot of possibilities, and it's always we can do that. There is a space for transformation, and the background of the models, the studio, is also important, because we want to use not the postcard view of the city, but also the dirty details and everything that well, how the if you travel in the city, not only in Prague but everywhere, so we, sometimes you use if you leave the centrum, you see the city like not in the best condition. So I hope, well, it's really improvisation, my the answer, but I hope you will understand.
Sure, I do. And I think it's also, we could talk about, you know, postmodernism and showing the margins and showing the different layers of the processes. But I think that speaking about that, in speaking about the city and the urbanism design in this way, it's really attractive to the readers, because you feel part of these images and because you feel that there is nothing fake and everything is fake. It's a game, and also the different languages are used in a really incredibly effective way, because you have objects, you have toys, you have illustrations, and you have these layers of different places. So it's what exactly happens in a city. So the difference of languages that are disposed, now that are showed. And what about matching together, for example, the illustration, because we have illustration in this part of the book. And this, for example, was it made in 4 hands, or is David, or is Hirges?
Sorry, what's the question? The question is about the models and the illustration, or?
Yes, both. Yeah. Both, yes.
Well, the structure of the book, there is, I don't know, 14 chapters, and we want to show 14 the big models and 14 different urban problems, and we want to show the view of the city, like if someone watching from the window. So you can see a lot of details, and you maybe you don't understand what kind of is the problem. For example, this one is about traffic, but if you see there is a lot of small stories and motifs, and I don't know. So and in the other pages there in the text is everything described, and then we use also the small detail like here in the left side, and then because we don't want to use only the photo and models, so we use also the drawing, but only the black and white with the, for example, the giant M, the really well, a strong graphic title, and we thought about this with Stepan Malovec, how we can manage it, all this ingredients, or I don't know,
yes,
to make one functional whole book. I think you already said in the beginning that we want to do a little bit different book, something between the magazine, the school book, some script, and everything, not like a, well, usually children book or something like this. So we think about this ingredients is like this.
I would like, thank you very much. I would like also to underline that there is, produced in this incredible and incredibly charming way, there is a discourse, a very strong discourse about urbanism, as Petra was highlighting before. So I'd like to ask to Osamu Okamura, why you needed to write this book, because I feel there is a strong need. There is very strong, this book. And I stopped in this page also because there is a discourse about mobility, for example, that is one of the crucial issues in cities now. So then you concur all together to make this discourse in words in typography. Yes, the graphic is central part of the project with illustrations, objects, and models. There is something strong that you wanted to say about urbanism, right, Osamu?
Right. Thank you, Marcella. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us because it's really exciting moment to have a chance to speak about this our teamwork about this book that I think is really kind of ambitious in terms of trying to translate a very complicated and complex urban issues or urban planning issues. I would say even urban planning crisis sometimes to the general public and especially to the young people. Yeah, and I spent like I would say decade lecturing to students or to architects about the problems in contemporary cities, and I saw some kind of very strong limitation because it's kind of a bubble, you know, it's kind of a bubble on itself. These architects talk with themselves and the language is sometimes very complicated. When speaking about architecture, it's still somehow more graspable, but if you speak about urban planning, it starts to be really tricky, let's say, field, because you start to use complicated words. It's very multi-layered, very complex, and it's very easy to get lost. So I just thought about kind of a guidebook for kids, you know, and not speaking about how to do things, but how to read problems. Yeah, so it means when you want to understand the city, you have to a little bit analyze it. You have to know a little bit the language, the alphabet of how to read. You have to learn the specific letters to read the word. You know, so it's like in the literature. So it is kind of a first kind of read book. You know, it's also the subtitle is the manual for the urban planners beginners. Yeah, so it's kind of a first read book for a very beginner. How to start, where to start from these 14, let's say 14 problems that I defined as kind of the pillars of and the biggest problems in our cities globally that are really threatening our existence, because as you know, more than the half population of the earth is living in cities now. 75% of the energy is being consumed in cities, and also 75% of carbon pollutions, carbon emissions are being generated in cities. So when we are speaking about the global crisis, like the climate crisis, we cannot solve it without the cities. And in the same time, in this complexity, you cannot rely only on architects and urban planners, because without the help of the citizens, you cannot really do anything. And if we are speaking about citizens, we are speaking about also not only about current citizens, but also about the future citizens. And these are definitely the kids. Yeah. So when I just started this project when working with the Czech Architecture Foundation, and I have to thank a lot to the Czech Architecture Foundation, because that was where the conversation started. And I went for a Fulbright grant to the Chicago Architecture Foundation. And their priority, one of the three biggest strategic goals, was to become a leader in youth education. So I attended a lot of programs for kids, for families, and for the high schools. I took let's say some active role in some of these workshops and summer schools, and also I've learned about their beautiful comic book that is the illustrated novel No Small Plans. Yes, and that was a big inspiration for me. It was published 3 years ago in Chicago. It was crowdfunded and crowdsourced with the people of Chicago and was distributed to the kids. So I just thought, when coming back to Prague, we need something like that. It was absolutely clear from the beginning it has to be 50-50 illustrations and pictures and text at least, because if we want to approach with these problems in a readable, understandable way, a bigger audience and the readers, especially younger readers, it has to be really accessible, and as you said, in many different layers. Yeah, so also a very young kid can take away some ideas from there. let's say the grown-up kid and also the high school student can take something from that. And also it became actually very popular with adults because mostly and very often they read together with kids. And the text is not easy. Yeah, the text is not really easy, I would say. Yeah, it's not always also funny. Yeah, you can imagine it's all problems. Yeah, so it's to sparkle the inspiration, to sparkle the, let's say, and imagination. No, yeah, and imagination. Yeah, and to make it's this kind of problem-centered learning. Yeah, so-called. So you don't show easy solution, or you don't offer easy solution. You just make kids think what might be the proper solution for the specific time, a specific problem, and they have to start to generate it themselves and, let's say, acquire it and cooperate on it and participate in it. So yeah.
This is fantastic. And can you mention some of these 14 pillars of problems of cities? I would like to hear about that because I know mobility is one, for example. But
it starts from the bigger picture. Is the monofunctional it's the monofunctional and spatially segregated city, that is becoming from the modernistic planning from the 20th century. Then it continues with the, for example, shrinking cities, with the suburbanization. It means the urban sprawl. Then it continues with the privatization of the city and of the public space, the lack of participation, brownfields. These are the post-industrial areas in transformation. Yeah, then you have the problems with gentrification and very difficult access to the affordable housing. You have the deterioration of the environment, for example, and you have the empty houses. You have the real estate speculation, gentrification. As you mentioned, also these traffic problems, the traffic congestion, that is mainly caused by the.
So this means that giving these problems, the problem center learning simulation, let's say, to some artists, add surprising results, because we know that creativity and limits, they go very well along. We have just finished the year devoted to Gianni Rodari, our great writer, Italian and translated in all the world. You know, Osamu, he was talking about the importance of the mistake. And so mistakes or problems, they are a great motor for thinking and for creative thinking and for artists. So I wonder how this very brave action of Labyrinth to match this assertive text, important, serious, let's say, text about very serious issues to illustrators and designers and photographers could produce this type of amazing retelling of problems in different layers. So I would like to go back to our visual artists in their studio. I see there is someone new. And hello.
Hello. I'm David, also German, Schwarz, but I'm only the outsider and the student.
I see. So were you part of the project?
He's an assistant of us for this moment, so we just invite him in this moment here. So.
Sure. It looks like that studio is a fun place. And can you tell me about the process of? So you decided to create this 3D model of the cities. You told me, and I am very curious about many different things. How long did it take? And were you living in that place or working in that place? Because you were burning little cars and it was packed with things. Can you tell us a little bit about the life within this Mesto city, right?
Yeah. Well, we made all the models during, I don't know, 6-7 months. So we don't have enough time what we usually want to, but sometimes you have a deadline. So it was 7 really intensive months just about this book. And during this time, this studio is really special. It was a former pub. So maybe in some of the background of the photo, you can see the the stuff from the pub which was here before.
The pub. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
The pub, la birreria.
Una birreria.
Yeah.
I see,
Yeah.
like a brewery.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then doesn't matter. We just we make I don't know how many buildings, and we use it several times. So we moving in another size, and we just for example, this one is one of my favorite model because we have to do the canal with the dirty water. So we bought. Here is one of the building.
Did spaghetti there?
Yeah, with the spaghetti. It's a Chinese soup. So we boiled, I don't know, 5 liters of the soup and put the ink and some dirty trash from here, and so we use a lot of details what we have here in the studio, because we don't make only the books, the illustration. We also drawing some free contemporary art. So we use a lot of different details and use it in the model. So, for us, it's important that the models, the look of the models is a little bit more like trash or punk, or like with if the children playing of something, they usually improvisation what they really have around them. So this is the same strategy. So we don't want to make some exactly models with pure some systematic plan or something. So, and I think this better corresponds with the real cities. So you work with the materials, what you have, the money, what is around you, what the history give you, and etc. So this is the same. So when we make the models, then came the Pavel, and we asked him if he can make the light like the morning city or evening city. If you go to in 7:30 to work, so how we can design the light. So there is a lot of this kind of details, and I think from all of 3 was a really intensive but really nice work. So we enjoy it. So I hope that this kind of feeling is also in the book.
I think if I may jump into it, I think that the photography plays very important role in it, because thanks to photography, the city is shown in different perspective. It's not just only one perspective, but also you can see it from the top, from the bottom, and so on, in a different daylight. So what David just said. So it's like just like some added quality of it in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that this feeling of play it's really strong in the book, and the feeling of play means on one end a feeling of fun, no, a game, fun, invention, but on the other end, play is something very serious, because to play means, as you were saying, David, to include the elements that are around you and reinvent the world, but with the real elements. Is what we do with imagination, is what we do with images, it's what we do with words. It's probably what keeps us human. And the incredible strength of your book is that it takes you in and makes you experience also the making of it, as you were saying in the text, as the text invites you in being an active citizenship, because mainly we're talking about global citizenship, right, Osamu? We are talking about being active citizen, and at the same time the playfulness let you think that the beauty, the fun, the feeling, that are the things that take you in real life. I don't know if I said it maybe confusingly,
Yeah.
but there is a quote of dream, utopia, and fun that makes you being on the ground. I don't know if you agree. What do you think about
I
that?
agree. I think you say really nice. And well, for me, the thing about the game and about the improvisation, it's not something like what you can do in the free time, but it's the strategy of thinking. And this is I think you say really nice. So I agree with this.
And I would maybe add it actually, David, and you see, they said at certain moment that they designed the city especially in a way that you can see also the backspace. You know, you can see it also from behind. You can see it as a stage set. You know, and it creates a parallel kind of to how we construct our ideas in real cities. That it's our image of society, our image of the community, of the neighborhood, of who we are and how we want to dwell and be in this world. And the important aspect that is there is that it's not something that you cannot change. You know, when you look from behind, you see that everything is built by someone, it's designed by someone, has been discussed with someone, and has been actually built with someone's hands. You know, so and it starts to. I think it should start, or I hope it makes kids to think. Okay, there is kind of very close proximity between the game and play, as David said, and building a real city, because it is, as you also said at the beginning, kind of strategical game, and maybe one of the most important games we should and we have to play today to survive on this planet. So I think this kind of impression that everything can be redesigned and made better for our better future, I would like to. I believe it's implemented in this approach now, and also in the visual approach. That it's kind of a textbook, also how to do things, no, or do it yourself kind of instructions, no, or something like that. Yeah.
We dream about school text like this. We can dream about being made like this. And do you think, Osamu, do you think that after the pandemic, when we saw, I remember we saw very recently images of cities without inhabitants because we were all locked down, and the cities appeared in different forms, in different shape. They were like abandoned, and in the same time, I don't know, naked as never before. And what do you think? Do you think we will redesign cities, and how?
It will have for sure several impacts, yeah, that are very clear. It actually proved how easy it is to live in a city that is walkable and it's relying on the pedestrian kind of movement, because in that case you don't, and in those short distances, yeah. So in that case you can really without a long travel in crowded let's say transit on car or traffic congestions, you can easily move around your neighborhood to do some basic shopping, you know, and so on. And so this makes the city very, let's say, low key, very sustainable, ecological, economical, and also very healthy in a way, no? Because the fresh air and the life under the sky was, let's say, the least prohibited, or maybe in a way the least restricted, you know, because the fresh air is kind of bring this kind of healthy environment. And so I think the necessity to care about the public space properly in the cities and about these shared spaces in the city actually is rising, because you saw that you cannot go to the, you know, to the theater, but maybe you can listen to the concert in the park, you know, or you can meet you know, you can do some sports on the open air while you cannot go to the gym, or and so on and so on. So I would say this kind of focus on the quality of the public space is one. The second is, let's say, a little bit dangerous, maybe a little bit dead-end development with the big and massive shopping centers, the shopping malls, that actually are accumulating huge crowds of people, generate a lot of traffic, and especially car traffic. And so this seems to be maybe now in question if the big shopping malls are the future or not. And at the same time, the e-shopping, you know, the internet shopping is probably not solution as well, because as we saw, so many trucks everywhere and paper boxes everywhere, and minivans parking everywhere, just delivering individual packages. It doesn't work as well. Yeah. So this another, let's say, experience from the COVID time. And we had a chance, because the book was finalized and published in the first wave of the COVID. So some of the very interesting data about the changes that were imposed on us by these challenging coronavirus pandemics actually were also already reflected in the book. Yeah. So and also maybe the book couldn't happen without the pandemics in a way, because it would be difficult to find so much time in the busy schedule, you know, of all of us in a way to finish such a complex and nice project, you know, in such a short time. So definitely there will be some takeaway from the current situation. Yeah.
Thank you very much for these reflections. And, you know, I like to tell you that if you have a look to the BolognaRagazzi Award winning books of this year, there are many themes connected with being where you are, like your book about cities, then another book that is awarded is the for fiction is titled Home, and another one for opera prima is titled Neighbors. So it looks like we had time to create, to read, to think, and it's like we go back and we meet again, and we have new things to share also about ourselves, about where we live.
We also saw and experienced a great segregation in the pandemic's time, but even before, the spatial segregation, social segregation, and the digital divide, and the, let's say, the world is becoming more and more divided in a way. It's quite surprising. And cities are quite opposite of that, but some, let's say, developments that are happening now are not going towards the community, towards sharing, towards, let's say, enriching each other through different gifts and different, let's say, talents, but it's going the opposite, to be very individualized, to earn as much as possible on the expense of the others. Yeah, and it's kind of this. It's kind of destructive tendency, and also kind of that is seen. We can really see it when being illustrated in space by this gentrification, spatial segregation, and suburbanization. It's going to the suburbs instead of being together. It's one can see it as isolation. One can see it as escape. Yes, there is something wrong, right? There is something wrong with the city from which you have to escape. Is that a problem? It's not safe.
Sure.
It's a problem. It's not healthy. It's a problem. It's just you know. So we have to also we speak about this kind of. We are now using this medicinal terminology also in cities, like that we should heal the cities, no, in a way. But also the cities are the places of big contrasts, of many clashes, of many layers that are not easy to reconcile. And it should be like that, because out of these tensions, out of this, let's say, variety, diversity, the great ideas are coming and possible future solutions are coming. So I'm not speaking about really cities that are only beautiful and only perfect and only let's say super, how to say, you know, like but about these are lively places, no, lively places that are vibrant, that are really energetic, that give you a lot of impulses and ideas and are yeah, very creative places for, you know, so for places for surprises as well, yeah, where you can get surprised, yeah, by something, yeah. So very open places, and I think that's something that I value a lot. And the book as well is constructed in such a way that every page you actually start to read and look at maybe is bringing some surprises, and the more you read, you can just discover something unexpected. It's sometimes very radical. Yeah, I would say it's sometimes very radical, the book, and in the same time, I hope it can sparkle some interest in joining the forces to make cities better. Yeah.
I think that it will happen for sure. The subtitle is "The City for Everyone," and this is the sense of it. And I was thinking too, when you before were talking about the problems, the issues in cities, I was seeing our David and Hiri and Pavel studio, and I saw there was a bicycle there. So objects, they can talk in the page, through the page, in photography, as for perspective, as for the shapes. And for example, a bicycle can be the center of a huge discourse about cities, for example.
Absolutely.
And I would like to ask our visual authors if they put, because I think they put it for sure, if they put some details or objects that for them are important for making a city for everyone. So for example, I thought about the bike, but you composed these huge landscapes, and for you, every details has been thought, has been built or drawn. So if for you there is one element, one object or one image that is important as a starting this problematic thinking, let's say, or creative thinking about cities?
Well, it's a really nice question, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if I can remember just one object. Maybe the bike is really nice. Maybe the bike is the key how we can use the city, or I don't know. And all of us, we are, Jiří, me, and also Pavel, we are users of the city like you. And I was grow up in the centrum of Prague, and I saw from the window the transformation of the communist city during the touristic magnet in the Central Europe and etc. So there is a lot of details. So from my experience, and also there is a lot of, I don't know, sign in the buildings, some graffiti, some wild in the city, some you know, the brown fields. It's for, I don't know, teenagers is really attractive to to discover it, or to try to understand and how do you say, urbex is kind of well, looking in the empty, not finished building, etc., or
abandoned.
Yeah.
It's like urban exploration, no?
Yeah, urban exploration. That's a good expression. So we put a lot of our own experience of how we use the city. So I cannot. I don't remember any one symbol of this, but I hope that if anybody can, because it's not a model of Prague, it's some imagination, maybe European city or Middle European, or I don't know, but I hope that a lot of people, not even our generation, but understand some details and remember what they see, if they, or what they well, remember their own experience of using the city. And well, so
thank you. I wish I could have more and more time, but I think we are gonna close. I just want to know from Petra, are we reading it in other languages already?
Well, we are preparing an English version, English maquette of the book. And I have already received some emails from Asia and also from some European countries that are interested in this title. So okay, let's hope for the best.
Yes, sure. So that's the sense of the award. We want this book to be available for everybody, and I look forward to having it in Italian when it will be published. And it was really a great pleasure and honor being with you. And thank you for your reflection, for your work. Thank you for your book.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcella. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.